Okay, in this look into where I've disagreed with the bronies, it's time to touch upon a particular sore spot, my green isn't your color review. Now, as a Season 1 episode, this was back in the days when I still thought I was going to be sort of the Miss Harshwinny of people reviewing this show, the tough but fair critic who would be reining in the fans just as much as the haters. I probably should have figured that 19 positive reviews in a row was more than just a pattern, but regardless, this was the first episode that I didn't like, and at the end of a streak of already lesser episodes at that. So I kinda tried to make up for lost time, I guess. And yeah, while everything I said was honest, the review wasn't too popular for obvious reasons. I was harsh, pessimistic, and just a little bit smug. But was I wrong? And the 98% of you rushing to type yes, yes you were, sit back and hear me out first. Then type it. On one hand, I did have significant complaints that I do stand by. In its broad outline, it's basically just Suited for Success all over again, not giving us much that episode didn't already between the pony outfit shows and Rarity proving that she's generous. Except that episode had a much more pressing conflict. And also, this one picked an annoying way to delay the solution, having Twilight decide that she can't just tell Rarity and Fluttershy that they want the same thing, because of Pinkie Pie rambling about the importance of keeping secrets, even though that so obviously doesn't apply here. Okay, fine, tell them that you're 100% sure that they should tell each other the secret or something. But on the other hand, there's a discrepancy here worth noting. See, unlike most of the other episodes that got negative or even marginal reviews from me, this one didn't really do anything that stupid, or have anyone act out of character, or even really mishandle any of its characters. Even the plot structure is pretty solid, in that every step is a clear progression from the last one. So just what was so bad about this thing to me?
It's, just so laid back, it's boring is what it is. There's nothing going for it.
Huh. Well, I didn't say that about Suited for Success, which, like I mentioned before, had a pressing conflict. It made Rarity go through the ringer to make her friends happy, which she did, proving how generous she could be, and how she and everyone else involved should have agreed that they weren't putting reasonable demands on her. So what's the conflict here? Okay, Rarity impresses another big shot in the fashion industry named Photo Finish, only to lose the job offer to Fluttershy, who she asked to serve as her model. Rarity tells Fluttershy that one of them getting it is at least a consolation prize, but later confesses to Twilight that it just makes her jealous. Fluttershy, meanwhile, hates being in the spotlight and thinks she's only doing it for Rarity, which she also tells Twilight. But since both of them have sworn Twilight to secrecy, they're stuck. Alright, well as far as growth and change go, it's definitely Rarity's story. Twilight is mainly just the observer, and Fluttershy never really has to rise to any challenge here. In the end, she seems to learn to trust Rarity specifically more than she rises above any of her greater insecurities. Rarity is the one who has to overcome her jealousy and save the day, and the one who builds up the courage to admit her feelings, thus freeing them both from this problem. So what's wrong with that? Well, the thing is, Rarity is sort of the one they push to the side here. For most of the episode, she's fairly stagnant because the action isn't really happening to her. She mainly just pops up to observe it and put her feelings on the table, so there's not a lot of progress being made. In fact, there's anti-progress, since Pinkie Pie, like I said, is depicted as unnecessarily dragging it out, teaching us about keeping secrets in the most annoying way possible. Seriously, has this show ever done more damage to its own cause? But okay, we all know about day-in-the-life stories where the conflict isn't the main draw, so what does this story give us instead? Well, this.
I am so frustrated I could just scream.
And this.
Too much blush. Not enough. Too much. Not enough.
And this. 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 And jeez, guys, come on! I mean, I've been pretty accepting of the cute side of this show, believe it or not, but there comes a point where it's, well, in polite terms, lazy. I mean, wasn't the goal of this generation of the show to not just depend on being cute for the little girls? In fact, what was that other one-line summary I gave in the review?
For the first time, it felt like just a kid's show.
Yeah. And granted, it is a kid's show, but the other episodes were written well enough to transcend a single demographic. That's possible no matter what your genre or target age group. And in the same vein, it's possible to let your audience down by relying too much on pandering to them with the same thing over and over. I mean, Fluttershy was good as a character in both of her episodes before this one, but just throwing an onslaught of her antics at us in this episode doesn't really leave you with much going for it. Or does it? Because the truth of the matter is that while I don't side with most of the fanbase in thinking this episode is good, I'm also not with them on this. And to be fair, it could at least be argued that her antics are good for showing off the specific qualities about her that everyone seems to love, the ones that make her Fluttershy. As some of you pointed out in response to my review, they're not just relying on cutesy faces for these antics either. They do try to weave in some comedy and create an entertaining environment and characters for Fluttershy to play off of. Heck, some of you even seem to really like Photo Finish as a character, even though I personally just kinda thought she was a poor man's Edna Mode.
This is a hobo suit, darling. You can't be seen in this. I won't allow it.
Don't be ridiculous. You're only facing a large crowd of ponies who will be watching your every move and silently judging you. You're cute. Now go!
You are Elastigirl! My God, pull yourself together! What will you do? Is this a question? You will show him you remember that he is Mr. Incredible, and you will remind him who you are. Well, you know where he is. Go, confront the problem. Fight. Win!
So while I can't say it offers anything smart or significant enough for anyone to describe it as a great one, I can at least see why people find it passable. If hanging out with these characters during a fashion show is your thing, it comes packed with plenty of Fluttershy antics, and in and of themselves, they're all harmless.
Oh, yes. Even her sneezes are graceful.
I hate this episode. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, just send me enough money to retire at 24, and I promise I'll never make one again. And don't forget to send me your videos and fan art on the show for Viewer Appreciation Corner. Thanks for watching.